Hey guys, so the end of the season is only a few weeks away now, and I thought I would put together some quick tips that should help you climb a little bit faster. This is not really going to make you a much better player, but it will just make you climb faster. You don't need to use all of these, but pick a few that suit you the most, and they honestly apply like every elo, so whether your end of season border is going to be made out of cardboard or diamond, it doesn't really matter. This game is really all about win streaks. This is kind of why players with a negative win rate can actually climb up to diamond quite easily. They play a ton of games. Eventually they get like 10 wins in a row, and they shoot upwards a couple of leagues. This is actually what we want. Losses are going to slow you down way more than you think they do. This is why you never give up. You try to tilt and you try as hard as you can to make comebacks happen in a game. Just imagine that we gain 20 and lose 20 to make this easy, but if we win our first 3 games, we've got 60 LP, right? If you lose the next one, you're down to 40, but if we had won that one, we would actually be on 80 LP. We would burn the 60 from the 3 wins plus 1 more to make it 80. It seems kind of strange, but actually going 3-1 means we end up 40 LP lower than if we had won that last game. If we lose the next one as well, it sucks obviously, but it happens. We're still 1 game up on the day. We've won 3, we've lost 2. We're now up 20 LP after everything, but if we had won all 5, we would have been on 100 LP in our promos, a massive 80 LP difference. This is why you don't really want to give up and why you do all you can to win and aim for win streaks. This is how people climb really fast if they can get them. One way of helping you do this is to start to dodge games. Look up your teammates in Champion Select and dodge once a day if you need to. It's only a 3 LP penalty. If you see your mid laner pick Zed, you already have a full AD team and his win rate is 20% on that champion, maybe you should just lose 3 LP and not lose 20 and dodge the game. Dodging is a really valuable way to keep your win streaks alive. Maining a champion one trick pony time is another thing for the end of the season climb. The 30-day challenges that I've been doing prove that you can get a lot better in a very short space of time, and it also helps string wins together. You might not realize it, but it's things that become habit. You learn how to really win with that champion, follow the same pattern each game to get good results. That's actually why a lot of people get bored. League is a very diverse game, I guess. Like each game is pretty different, but if you main the same thing and you do the same thing every time, games feel too similar, but it does help you climb. If you can't do this, I don't blame you. It does get a bit boring, but pick a playstyle instead. A lane bully champion, a crit AD carry, a gank jungler, a tank jungler. That will really help. You're not playing the same champion, so it won't be as good, but you are playing the same playstyle every single game, so it's similar. The stuff you learn from one champion will apply to another. Also, counters only work when you are equal-ish skill level. I see a lot of people picking counters because they saw it on a website. So they don't really work that way. If they are better than you with the champion they are playing, even if you pick a counter pick, it's not going to matter at all. You're still going to get wrecked. Final thing for picks, get some crowd control on your team. CC is the easiest way to win a game. A lot of lower elo games literally come down to who has a better team fight, who has more crowd control. It's not like a free win, but it is the easiest mechanic to use in the game. Crowd control makes the game a lot easier. When you get out of lane phase, the easiest way to win is also to group and Aram style. Just everybody runs to the mid lane and fight. That is where your crowd control really shines. Obviously, we have those tips already, but what actually makes you climb quickly? Like, what does it really come down to in game? I'm not talking about stuff that will make you a better player at this point. I'm just talking about getting those wins. Really, you've got to focus on 5 different areas if you really want to climb fast before the end of the season. Your kill participation, your lane performance, which is like your trading, so not just being passive, actually fighting for the lane, how many deaths you're getting, how vulnerable you are to ganks, so when you actually get ganked, do you die or not, and also your gold gain at each stage of the game. Your kill participation is fairly obvious. This is how actually involved you are in the game. So you need to roam around with your team and actually participate in the general game, not just sit in your lane. When you are in your lane though, you actually do need to be trading and trying to get as much as you possibly can out of lane phase. You need to be getting a gold lead, not just going even. The dying part is pretty obvious, right? If you die less, you give less gold to the enemy team, but it's a really good indicator actually of how much you should be in this elo or whether you deserve a better rank. If you're dying not that much, then you probably are going to climb quite fast. Vulnerability to ganks is really important because actually getting ganked is not necessarily a bad thing. You're absorbing a lot of pressure, and that means the jungler cannot gank your other lanes. If you deal with that properly, it's actually a massive advantage for your team. Finally, the farming aspect, you need to get gold because you need items to carry, right? This comes down to creep score, it comes down to towers, it comes down to fighting as well. These things are pretty hard to measure and actually to find out, but these are things that I pulled from the Mobalytics GPI dashboard again, just like other videos that we've done on the channel before. It's actually these 3 areas statistically that you really need to climb fast So these are the 3 things you want to watch for and see where you actually match up. This is obviously mine on screen, but like you can go and look at what your personal one looks like if you want to. What I actually do as well as this is use the post-game screen to see what my last game looked like and where I got to knuckle down and get better if I want to climb. Don't rely on your teammates to make the correct or the optimal play. Sounds kind of a bit dickish, I know, but if you have a team fight that requires your mid laner to land a perfect Orianna ultimate or even a good one, then you're probably doing it wrong. Set up situations where even if your Ori forgets to press R or misses it, like you're still gonna win that fight. It literally eliminates the issue of having a bad teammate. Obviously, it's a harder game to play, but fight like a 5v4, catch people out. Don't fight full 5-on-5 if you know that one of your teammates has an important job or just isn't very good. You'd be surprised just how much more you will actually climb when you really start to play this way, and don't make plays that need your teammates to do a good job to win them. So next tip, don't type in game unless you really need to. You're gonna need to use your pings. Typing is actually not needed to climb at all, honestly. Like, only times I ever do it is to try and map out the next play. Something like, okay, I'm gonna base and then we can Baron or something like that. Especially now when people care a lot more about winning because it's the end of the season, they get more emotional actually. They get more frustrated. They kind of get a bit more angry, I guess. Talking actually gives them somebody to vent to. That's why you don't want to do it. Next thing is you really want to mute players who start to flame. Even if it's not aimed at you, you need to concentrate. It's really good for concentration. Even if you don't think it bothers you, you are going to get distracted by their messages. So just focus on the game and try to win for that juicy win streak. Ego is another thing, which is big for lower ranks especially, but just because you know the correct play doesn't mean it's actually the right play to make in that game. I hope that makes sense, but basically Baron might be the best call at the moment, but if your jungler bases, it's not going to be the correct call anymore. It's not going to be the best one. This is kind of hard because like you know the right play, you just called it and it would have been a good play, but without people not following, it is not actually a good call anymore. It's the same when you dive or whatever. Like, man, that would have been so good if our mid laner was here and had roamed. Well, you know that your mid laner wasn't there, right? So that good call was actually a bad one. Next thing, roaming. Doesn't matter how bad your team is when you roam. It doesn't matter how bad you are when you roam either. Bit exaggerated maybe, but like you might be worse than your opponent, your lane opponent, but if you roam, that doesn't matter at all. Getting better at League really needs you to be a good laner if you want to win consistently. We don't really have time for that right now, so the shortcut is to roam and get fed that way instead. Make TP plays, push the wave, and roam with your ultimate base and go to another lane first before you go back. All of these things swing the game into our favor and help you beat better players. So anyway, that wraps up this video, and I hope you found it useful and it will help you climb for the end of the season. Thank you for watching, but for now, I'll leave you with the robots.